Okay, you're all set. Thanks.
Great. Thanks, John. Welcome everybody to the government operations meeting for Monday, June 6th, 2022. First item is for public comment. I do not believe we have anybody in the queue. Is that true, John?
That's correct.
Okay, great. So we'll move on to the approval of the minutes from the May 2nd, 2022 meeting. If I can have a motion.
I'd make a motion to approve the Government Operations Committee meeting of May 2nd, 2022.
I'll second.
Any discussion on them? All in favor? Aye. Okay, great. We'll now move on to the update from our facilities director, Phil Sear. Hi, Phil.
Hello. How you doing? Phil Sear, facilities director. So the bidding package for Firehouse 3 HVAC systems replacement is still being worked on. The PD's women's locker room is going to wrap up this week, ready for them to move in. I have upcoming projects. Started a library project to remove the main counter and set up a mobile counter system and other move alterations. We will be wiring a modular conference room booth for Mary at the library when it comes in. We will be upgrading the Academy Hall Museum electrical service. And after that, we will be upgrading the fire system at the Academy Hall as well after electrical service upgrade is done. And then more to come as the year progresses. That's all I have.
Okay, great. We still have Community Senior Center on the agenda. Do we need to keep that on here any longer, you think, going forward, or are we pretty much done? Or
I mean, there's not, everything's pretty much done. Everything now is owed, has been given to us. We're just, we're still dealing with, we had a breakdown today or Friday of an AC unit rooftop, but other than that, nothing really to report.
John Mayer, do you think going forward we can leave that off the agenda and just bring it up as needed?
I think the only thing that we need to leave on, Phil, probably is just Firehouse 3.
Mm-hmm.
You finished with the HVAC projects, right, for Town Hall and
Yes,
Police
yeah.
Department, so it can be
A couple of
scratched.
months ago. Yep.
So we'll just leave that Firehouse 3. That's the only sort of
Yeah.
major project you got going in the fire.
Right. Okay. Any questions, John or Mimi? Okay. Thank you, Phil. I don't know if you're sticking around for the school buildings or John Mayer, you want to handle that?
Well, briefly, the Stevens School HVAC is still in the design development phase. The Griswold Middle School roof, the Board of Ed applied for it, but they didn't like the fourth resolution relating to the funding source, because we did put in their ARP money, because the time when the resolution was written, we weren't sure what the Board of Ed was giving. So we had to go through and bring that up tonight at the council meeting to approve it, saying that it's all coming from town funds. We're not using any ARP money. And then they'll reapply this week for the roof grant. And the other one with the Griswold School science labs, they're hoping to get started on June 20th, replacing the 2 8th grade labs. And hopefully they'll get that done over the summer.
Okay, great. Okay, great. Any questions on any of those items? Okay. Moving on to the update on the Elbridge Park grant. And I see Craig's on. I assume that's your section.
Yes.
Thanks for joining.
Yes. So I was able to send out a couple sketches to you guys for this meeting about some of the concepts we've been discussing for the park, for the conceptual master plan. And there's a couple there's one kind of master dream big plan that has kind of everything we talked about, with a new pool and new features and, that kind of stuff. And then there's a plan that has, renovating the existing pool, adding some shade structures of that nature, while keeping all the other elements in place. And that plan calls for, adding in a zero depth entry pool with a splash pad using the existing bathhouse. So there's a couple of drawings there. I just wanted to share them with the committee and have you guys, just so you guys have it. What I do think is the main driver of all of this, I do think is, I'd like to kind of push in the direction of using the funds for the grant to construct the multi-use, fitness trail around the perimeter of that section of the park. Potentially maybe adding in the pickleball courts aspect of it. And then, I think that'll open it up and allow for us to build off of that and kind of add features, as we move along. So that's kind of where we're at right now. We did meet with the architect last week on site. He did an existing conditions report. He's still in the process of filing it. But what he does in that report is he takes all the measurements. He takes a look at the existing, filters and controllers and existing things that we have at the current pool, so that if we were to ever renovate, we would have an idea of things that we might be able to keep or things that we need to replace. I think it's a pretty cool concept we're coming up with here. We're kind of coming down the home stretch. At the conclusion of the project, he is going to give us that report on the existing conditions of the current Elbridge pool. He's going to give us some cost estimates, which we kind of already have, on some of the features. They're going to give us some nice, pretty drawings so that we have something to work off of as we move in the future with the current project or with the park. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you guys have right now. Again, this is all exploratory, it's conceptual, nothing set in stone, but it does give us something to work off of.
So Craig, down by that baseball field.
Yep.
Football field. Right across the way, you're looking to put in like a regular basketball court. Right above right outside center field.
No, so that actually is it's a multi-sport court. It's a sport court that you can do multiple sports on. You might be able to do basketball, you might be able to do volleyball, you might be able to do futsal. But it's called a sport court, and it's a concept that was developed by Musco Lighting in a partnership with another company. And they use these courts for a multitude of things. You could do lacrosse on it. You could do, several different things. There's sports.
Oh, okay. Then right to its right.
Yep.
Sort of looks like a screw with threads on both ends.
Yeah. So that's a cricket concept, like a cricket practice play area, kind of similar to like a batting cage for baseball, but this will be a little prettier, a little less fencing, more open concept. I think there would be some netting involved. So yeah, there's that. And then if you look down at where the existing skate park is, you'll see just to the north of that is, some pickleball courts. And then kind of northeast to that, we kind of put an area there for a potential like fitness area for adults, or all ages really, but kind of a fitness area that would be ADA accessible that you could do like certain exercises on. I actually met with a company last week about a grant, the possibility of getting a grant for putting one of those fitness, outdoor fitness areas in. So I'm still in the exploratory phases of that as well.
And then the current skateboard park, that's going to be parking, right?
Yeah, I think we would turn that into parking. I just think when you're adding that many recreational components, or even if you add the pickleball component, if you have people playing pickleball and you know those basketball courts are packed all the time, we're going to need additional parking to, help, house these beach.
And then that last thing, that little court next to the Miracle Field, that's the one
Yeah.
that's various size hoops. Is that?
Yeah, so that's a concept called Kevin's Court. They have them all across the country, but South Windsor actually built one, and it's an adapted basketball court with multiple size hoops that you can use for people that are wheelchair bound, or if you have young kids and they want to go and shoot on a different size court. So it's a really neat concept.
And then you mentioned 4 pickleball courts?
Yeah, 4 pickleball courts. And then the trail itself would have some stations, some exercise stations, which is kind of cool. And then we'd also look at, I know this drawing has some additional trees and shade structures as well. So I think that would really bring a nice clean look to the park.
Craig, what's the total distance of the trail all the way around?
So it's close to, I think we estimated it at 0.48. So right around a half mile. So.
And are you planning on lighting for any of these courts?
The only one I would possibly consider, pickleball, or that sport court, because Musco Lighting has a deal that they work through the sport court company. So those are the only 2 that I would possibly consider it for. I know that there already is conduit run to that old skate park area.
Right.
So, but that's kind of secondary. I think most importantly would be getting the features in place, because the lighting definitely adds a whole new.
Yeah.
I have a question on the pools, whether we build a new pool or renovate the existing pool. Would they be able to give us, obviously there's going to be cost for each option, and also like the longevity that we could expect to get out of the renovated pool as opposed to the new pool, so we can kind of do which is more cost effective?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So yes, part of this report it'll give us a report on the existing conditions of our current pool and whether or not we're structurally sound, how many years we have left in the existing pool, how much it might be to renovate the existing pool, and then how much it would cost to, drill and fill the existing pool and build new. So they'll give us a pretty detailed report on all of that, as well as a bathhouse, splash pad, that kind of stuff.
Okay, thank you.
John, Larry, do you have any questions? But you're on mute, John.
When is that report supposed to be available?
I think probably within the next month or so, they're going to be wrapping up everything.
In that report, will there be a recommendation?
I don't think it's going to provide us a recommendation. It's going to give us as much info as we need to understand, especially for the pool. I think the other parts of the project, we're going to kind of be able to pick what we afford with the grant. And then the pool itself is kind of a separate piece of the pie. But, one of the problems with renovating the existing pool is if that dollar figure gets to a certain point, you're almost better off either, not doing anything or going the full amount to build a new pool instead of renovating a 60-year-old pool. It's old. So that they will give us a recommendation or at least a pretty good cost analysis.
Thank you.
Craig, a couple questions on that multi-surface or multi-use court. What is the surface material used there, and what's the approximate size of that?
There's those courts come in multiple sizes. The surface itself, it's like almost like a rubberized surface, and when you put everything together, it like pieces together almost like a flooring in your house, the way they put it together. So you can do multiple sizes of that. I would push for the bigger the better, but I think there's like 3 different court sizes that they do. I don't know them off the top of my head. I can get that to you separately.
No rush.
But it's like a rubberized surface that you piece together. Pretty durable, for all weather. They're starting to pop up all over the Northeast because they are durable and they can withstand, frost and that kind of thing.
Right. Okay. So like, are there going to be basketball hoops if you want to play basketball there, or is that not really one of the sports?
You could add a hoop in. Absolutely. My whole thing with the basketball piece of everything is we kind of already have a basketball court there, right? Like with 6.
Is there still one that's like, is there still one in the new version of this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on the corner across from Vecino. Yep.
Oh, okay.
The ones that are currently, yeah, those are very popular.
Yeah. Okay. No, then never mind. Okay. Then you really don't need it. Okay.
One of the plans called for adding an additional basketball court. And I thought, we kind of already have basketball covered. What about, maybe something cricket related or, along those lines.
Understood. Okay.
And aspect, one more interesting aspect of this, not to belabor this, but there is the possibility of a pretty large green space where the existing players field is.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times you go into parks and everything seems so programmed and you got this field and that field and this field and that field. And this might call for just a nice green space where you can do whatever you want. You could do ultimate Frisbee. You could do, there's a new rage right now for, Quidditch, the Harry Potter sport, but it's actually on grass. There's like a national surge of that right now. So just having green space in the park kind of gives you some flexibility to, do a multitude of things.
Yep. And I know there's kind of sort of been drainage issues in part of that area. Would that get fixed as part of this whole plan, or because it's just green space?
Yeah, it depends on what we put there. If you're going to be adding some courts, you might just have to raise them up a little bit, but not necessarily add drainage in throughout the entire park.
Yeah, no, I mean like the green, like where Players Field is.
Yeah, I don't think right now I would do anything with that. I mean, there might be some things that we can do in-house to at least level it off. But depending on what it's going to be used for, you might not need drainage.
Yeah. Maybe just the type of base you use under the grass or whatever, like more sand or whatever. I don't know. You guys know better than I do. So
that place is wet.
That's where I almost pulled a hammy once, yeah.
Walt knew in that pond back as a young kid.
Wow, okay. Interesting. Great. Thanks, Craig. Any other questions on the project? Great. Well, we'll look forward to getting updates as you get more.
All right.
Thanks, Craig.
Thanks.
Have a good
Sorry for making this the longest government ops meeting in history. I apologize.
Yeah, it's all
Take
good. Thanks.
Thank
Okay, we have a couple items under other business. Rock Hill High School renovate is new, and Moser Intermediate School. Those are both waiting for the audit to happen. Any
Yep, no
change?
update. No news on anything related to that.
Gotcha, okay. And any new business correspondence or communications?
No, none.
And I'm
Yeah.
guessing we don't have any bills.
No bills yet.
Okay, that's all good. So unless anybody has another topic, I'll take a motion for adjournment.
To adjourn.
John, you're on mute.
Sorry, I have the dog barking and the kids screaming. So yeah, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. Or I think you said that, Mimi.
It's okay.
Seconded it. You seconded it if you said it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that's it. Thanks, everybody.
Take care. Have a good evening.